Well gang, how's things? Well, it's evening time now, the end of the day, and I'm out getting the van ready, pushing water into the tank and getting ready because this is our trolley system here, and we use it for soft washing, so that's what we're doing on the first job tomorrow. So that's the back of the van set up ready, the two reels ready to go as well. That's the first job of the day, and that's why it's at the doors, so it's ready to go. It's full of solution, fully charged, and it's ready to go. So this video is an update on my last video about getting commercial jobs, and I'm going to talk to you today all about pricing and how I do it. So guys, here I am up in the home office, and I have a bit of work to do for tomorrow. The list of people has been made, but I just need to put final times on it because I like to do a worksheet up for the van for the next day, to say where we're going at what times, people's contact numbers and stuff like that in case there's a problem. But pricing of commercial jobs. So myself and Harry have actually just done a video on this at the moment, and I've been talking about pricing of commercial jobs. So I price commercial jobs higher than I do private jobs. So I go to a commercial job. This is after I have all the stuff ready in, like I talked about in the last video. And so how I try and work it out is how long do I think it's going to take. So if I look at a big building, loads of glass, I'll try and work it out time wise, and I'll think to myself, maybe an hour and a half outside for two of us, an hour and a half inside. So we're talking about 3 hours. So I suppose what you always have to, what I always think of is what's the rate that I generally get on my houses if there's two of us. So I try and work that out. Maybe think of some of your best work. What do you earn in per hour if you're doing some of your best customers, best private customers, and then try and work that out. So then I'll go, right, so if we get this much doing private work, we should earn, and 3 hours worth is say this much money. But then when you're thinking of commercial work, it's a little bit different. So you have to factor in a few things. The commercial customers that we call to want loads of safety papers done. There's induction courses, and there's loads of other bits and pieces like that. Now I've heard of people doing commercial work for less money than their private work. And that's fine if you're desperate for the jobs and you want something to put on Facebook that looks good. But apart from that, why would you ever do something commercial for less money than private? Like, some of the car dealerships and stuff don't actually want any safety papers or anything off of us. But the factories, just to give you an idea, when we go there, we have to go to the security hut first to get lanyards and a pass for being allowed on site. But before we do that, we've sent all of our safety papers in. That's taken time. We might have done an induction course with them. We might have gone and met with the health and safety officer, which sometimes you have to do every single time you go to the factory. You have to fill out a form when you get there, just to say, have you been outside the country in the last week? Have you been sick? Have you got a valid Safe Pass certificate? All of that sort of stuff. And if you're waiting for somebody, that can take 10-15 minutes to do it. If you have to meet a representative on site, that takes even longer. On the inside, there might be desks up against the window. Again, we kind of know our factories now, so we can get there at maybe 8 o'clock, 7:30, and knock those out before people come, and it gets harder to do the inside. But all of that kind of takes time. And then there's other rooms that there might be a meeting in, and you'll be told, come back in an hour's time, come back at lunchtime. So we always, if we price a job to last us 3 hours, I'll always add on another hour. Hopefully it never takes us that, but I add on another hour just in case there's a meeting going on in a certain room, or for some reason we're slowed down in the day. Perhaps they're getting other work done. There's a few places that have laboratories as part of their factory, and we have to put on a whole white suit for going into the clean area to clean the windows. So again, all of that takes time. So if you're just looking at it from a window cleaner that's used to doing private stuff, you might think, oh, I'd knock that out in an hour and a half, and you might charge for an hour and a half of your time. But then you start doing the paperwork, then you go inside and the security guy isn't there, and you have to wait 20 minutes for him to sign you in and sign you out. It can all get a bit frustrating and not very profitable for your business. So always go that little bit more, because it's not everyone that can go and do those jobs in the first place. They're stuck to somebody that that has all of their safety and insurance papers in place and is going as far to get to them. So that's what I do. I prefer to do private stuff and get paid then and there. Commercial work, you have to wait a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks to get paid sometimes. So I suppose you're better off just you could be better off cash flow wise, definitely, to do private work. But if you're going to do commercial work, you kind of have to factor in a little bit for that as well. So sometimes it's worth, say that it's going to take you 3 hours to do the job, add another one for the hassle and the coming and going. So that's adding a third onto it. I'd even go as far as adding another 20% just for the commercial aspect of it. So maybe think, for a private person and for the hourly rate, I would charge half again probably on a commercial work. But then I suppose the great thing is once you're in on those jobs, you're often in, because they don't want to go through the induction of somebody else over and over and over. So once you're in, you're in. And once you get to know the job, that's where the profit really comes in. The first time might be good money, but not amazing. But then once you get used to the place and you know, oh, we'll get in there at 8 o'clock, get the inside smashed out in an hour. Then on the outside, there's this shortcut, that shortcut. If you do those ones first, it works out better. All those kind of things. And before you know it, excuse me, you're charging for 4 or 5 hours and you're getting it done in 2.5. And then for the rest of the day, you're going on to do, you've got your day's money earned. And then in the afternoon, you're going on to another commercial job, or you're going on to other regular customers. So that's kind of where you can make money on that. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right way to price commercial stuff, but for me, that's what I try and do. So that often we have a day's wage made in the morning time. Again, you want to do a good job, and sometimes you might get jobs from people in that factory. We always take pictures, put it on Facebook to show other people that that's the kind of work that we do. So that's how I price commercial work. I don't think there's any secret to it, apart from think of your best day rate and then plan accordingly, and always put that margin in there in case something goes wrong or you have to wait for them for some reason. So that's what that's the way we roll, guys, and I hope that is of some help to you guys out there.